this is God's weather.
Yes.
This is God's meeting.
Yes.
God never works against himself.
Yes, sir.
So it's good that you're here tonight. We're few in number, comparatively speaking. But I'm glad that you are here, and I believe that others will come in later.
Yes.
What we want to do tonight is continue to study the Word of God just as we have been doing. I do not know who is in the audience, who will need the message that I'm going to bring to you. But I'm going to bring the message of God to you in a very simple way, taking it from God's book, the 14th chapter of the book of Matthew. I think we were reading, and beginning with verse 23. And if you're here at the conclusion of this message and you realize that you're outside of God's ark of safety, that you will come and become a Christian before it is everlasting too late. In Matthew chapter 14, and beginning with verse 23.
And when he had sent the multitudes away,
When he had sent the multitude away,
he went up on the mountain by himself
he went up into a mountain by himself
to pray.
to pray.
Now when evening came,
I'm going to read this one, brother, and then I'm going to call him.
okay, all right, let's
All right. Now, when evening came, it started, and when he had gone, when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea.
Yes, yeah.
And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit." They cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid." And Peter, Peter was always the aggressive, the loquacious one, always talking about what he would do and so on. So here's Peter again. And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it be thou, if that's you, bid me come unto thee on the water." And he said, that is, Jesus said to him, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, "Lord, save me."
Yes.
I'm going to read the rest of these verses in just a few minutes, down to about verse 30 and 31, but my subject is coming from verse 30. 3 words. The shortest prayer in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think I made a mistake and said the shortest sermon.
Yes, sir. All right.
I said the shortest prayer
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Lord, save me.
Yes,
And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand
yes, sir.
and called him and said unto him, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" When they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. In reading this passage, we see another instance in which Jesus demonstrated his divinity as well as his humanity.
Yeah.
And from reading the text, we know that they were on a sea that was having a storm, and that reminds me of what I just said. Anytime you have any kind of weather, that's still God's weather. But God doesn't work against himself. And here, as they were out on the sea and Jesus was walking on the water, Peter was so impressed that he wanted to have the people to be impressed with him.
Yes.
So he said, "Now, Lord, if it's really you,
Yes, sir.
then let me walk out there on that water."
Right.
Jesus didn't exchange words with him. He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking, having seen that Jesus was doing it himself. But Peter didn't realize he wasn't Jesus.
All right.
But he wanted to identify with Jesus so closely. And of course, he was the perhaps most unique one in the group. It was always Peter. Peter would speak up. Peter would do this. And later, Peter, when he got into trouble, Peter would curse and do everything else that we may think a man should not do. But here, Peter is showing his impetuosity. He just, he was impetuous about anything. Here it is. How did he think he could walk on water? Well, Jesus was doing it. And he didn't tell Jesus to let all of us come to you on the water. Let me walk.
Yeah.
If you will, bid me come unto thee on the water. And Jesus said, "Come on." But Peter didn't know that it took more than the desire to just walk on that water. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, "Lord, save me."
All right.
You remember these